31st. So the next sign that is up is Aries. All right, so Aries, I have your cards spread out here. So let's just go into it. I believe it was last month in the mid-month reading that I mentioned a lot of you are like organizing something. I see you putting up a lot of decoration. So I don't know if you're like preparing for a party, but I feel like it's happening again. It's happening again. I feel you putting things up. I see you chiseling things. So if you're in, you're doing any sculpture or any ceramics and things like that, I definitely see that. A lot of arts and crafts, a lot of creative endeavors are coming through for you. A lot of you are working, learn either taking a class, or I see you doing something with your hands, and I feel like it's a creative project. I feel like you could also be working with your hands a lot in a work environment too. And I do sense financially things are looking really, really good for this month. Okay, we are advancing forward. There's a lot of financial abundance coming through for you, and I do feel a lot of you are also at a point where I don't know why, but it seems like a lot of events have happened last month and then at the same time this month. So you might be a little bit overtaxed and, feeling a little bit under the weather. So just be careful about that. Keep yourself healthy. Drink your vitamins. I see just, vitamin C, getting enough sleep and things like that. But going on towards the end of this month, I feel like you and another person might be taking a vacation together. You might be contemplating a vacation, and I feel like it's not going to be, like a 2 months, 1 month type of vacation. I feel like it might just be possibly over the weekend or taking going on a getaway. And I see like two people in the picture. Okay, so you might be going to a place that is warmer, and I feel a lot of gardening, a lot of, getting on the ground, kind of like slouching over, doing things with your hands, gardening, weeding the lawn, taking care of a lawn, or even like clearing up your space. But I do see more decorations as well. So the first thing out of this spread here that's coming in very soon, I don't know if you've got, I feel for some of you, you've got somebody who is, they're saying this person is like a wild horse. They go with the wind, and, they travel a lot. So you've got somebody coming back into your life. And yeah, you've got somebody coming back into your life. So I feel like you're waiting on somebody, or this person is making their way towards you. There is definitely geographical distance, immense geographical distance. A really, really wonderful time for you to reconnect with old friends. I feel like you and this person have a long history. You and this person are very emotionally invested in each other. I'm getting more of a friend vibe, a family vibe, okay? For others, it could be romance as well, but I definitely feel they're saying like this person is like a wild horse. They're untamed. They don't really want to be bogged down. They don't have a sense of rootedness. They don't have a sense of like, it's hard for them to set down roots, and they don't really have a place that they call home. So I definitely feel that's coming through, and you will be celebrating or reuniting and, doing something, some joint project as well with this person. There's a lot of communication that I feel coming through here, and it looks really good. Um, for others of you, I feel like there's a lot of healing when it comes to relationships, okay? And especially on the family front. So I definitely feel like you're coming together with another person, and you are agreeing to disagree, and you do your thing, they do theirs, and then you guys can reconvene, at a time when you both are okay, and then you can talk about things. So I feel like this month is all about, the different ways in which people live their lives, and the ways in which we allow other people to live their life unencumbered, and, without imposing any type of standards, restriction, judgment on them. So I do sense this is a very, very good month for you to, I feel like, to understand what another person is going through, to understand that whatever they're doing is appropriate for their station, where they are in their life. And while you might not do those things, while you might not agree with the way they're living their life, it's not anyone's lot to judge another person. So I feel like there's this sense of wisdom coming through, where if you care about somebody, you just want them to be happy no matter what they're doing. As long as you feel like they're happy, you're gonna live and let live. So I definitely feel this maturation process, growing up, accepting other people for the way they are. So I feel like work is definitely high on the agenda for a lot of you. I see you and another person, like you're doing your thing, they're doing theirs, and I feel like even though it's a collaborative type of situation, everyone's got a very specific role, and no one is really stepping on each other's toes. No one has to like get the consent of the other person in order to get their job done, and that's just like exactly what kind of environment that you enjoy and you would thrive in. You need a lot of independence and you need a lot of freedom in order to do things creatively. So if you have recently, allied with somebody to do some type of a creative project where you both can benefit financially, I definitely see it starting to get off the ground. You're doing something, you're probably the one that's doing the creative aspect, and they're doing the financial aspect of it, so everyone's got their specified role and everyone's working together. There's a lot of harmony, there's a lot of healing, acceptance, and it's just a really, really beautiful energy. Now, so that's the main thing coming through. In the background, like in the periphery, is I feel like there is something here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. If you have recently undergone any type of, illness, or have undergone like gone under the knife, I feel like it could be, elective or elective surgery, or even something that is required of you. I definitely feel a lot of healing is coming in, and I'm feeling a lot of you are starting to feel good again. So if you yourself, or you have dealt with somebody who's going through, surgery or some depression and things like that, I feel like this is the wake up time where they start to, pick up the pieces of their lives, or they're starting to heal, and they're taking the first step outdoors, and they're admiring everything around them. Okay, so this sense of immense healing, emotional healing, physical healing is coming through, especially for those of you who have dealt with this, are personally going through it, or are dealing with someone who's going through it. So I feel like you're starting to emerge again, okay, and you're looking very, very strong and healthy. In Also on the periphery is what I'm feeling is there is going to be some type of an event. Okay, I feel you surrounded by a lot of people, and you're gonna have to speak, like you're in the limelight, so you're gonna have to give a speech. That's what I'm feeling for some of you, and I feel like it starts out really serious, and then you take like a very like 180 turn with this speech, and you make it very, very humorous, and you make it very charming, and you make it really, you're able to make it your own. So it starts out with this area of seriousness, and then you know how to, play on people's emotions, and I feel like you're doing some really rapid sleight of hand, and it becomes like a very, very humorous spin. So it's quite interesting, and I feel like you're gonna get very good positive reception. Okay, what's coming in as well is I definitely feel there's a lot of exchange of information. I feel like a lot of information coming through, and a lot of like technical information as well. So you might be in a position, if you're starting new work, if you are even starting new projects, there's a lot of technical information that you have to learn. So this means, being open, receptive, and absorbing technical information. I feel like you're ruled by fire, and the fire, the wands energy deals with a lot of creativity. Okay, and oftentimes fire signs, you're the type to like head in first, ask questions later. So a lot of the times you feel like that might be the best approach, and that might be how you've been conducting yourself and living your life in the past. But I feel like there's something a little bit different here where you are going to have to do something in a more planned out, in a more systematic, and in a more technical manner. So that means reading all the instructions first before you jump in. That means getting the groundwork, the knowledge foundation stabilized first before you can rush in, okay? And I do feel if you do that, things are going to go really well for you financially and in the work environment. So you're working amongst a very in a little bit of a rigid system, but I do sense that it's providing you with structure, and it's providing you with a way to better organize your creativity, plan your time, and organize your thoughts so that long term you can work anywhere, okay? So don't try to fight it. I do sense it's going to be good for you, and I do feel that you're going to be okay. You're going to actually really enjoy how effective this system works for you, okay? So it's a really good 2 weeks, I feel, to be, open-minded, to be um, accepting of new things, new ways of doing, new suggestions from other people as well, okay? What else I'm also getting is I feel like financially you're in a really good space. A lot of you might be thinking about, I'm really happy right now with job, with my work. There's this overall sense of contentment. And a lot of you are just like, what's my next step? So I feel like forward planning, future planning is something that has been nagging at thinking about this, but life has been very busy, and there was a lot of friends to see, things to do, social outings to go to, and you haven't really given it serious thought. But I feel like this is the month in which you are thinking about these things, and you are going to lay down some solid plans so that you can figure out what your next step is going to be, okay? I feel for some of you too, possibly there has been like a long-standing significant relationship where you both have drifted apart, where I feel like the relationship, like you care about this person and they care about you, but you both don't have a common vision. And I feel like that is something, if that sounds familiar, I feel like the relationship is balanced, it's very harmonious, it's very good, but you both don't have, that it has dragged on for quite some time, and you both care about each other and you're afraid to let go. And I feel like this relationship is going to be dismantled for this month, because I feel like within the past 2 months you have grown apart, and you might not want the same things in life. One person might want family and kids, and the other person doesn't. And one person might want to live in the city, the other person wants more space in the suburbs or in the countryside. So I definitely feel like a lack of common goals and lack of common vision, lack of common interests. So that relationship might come to an end, or you are thinking about, what to do about this relationship for the next 2 weeks. And I do feel like it's a very, very I genial, like, parting of ways. I don't feel it's gonna be, hail and brimstone and door slamming. I don't get that at all. I feel like it's a mutual parting of ways, and it is gonna, you both will remain, friends in the future. So I do sense like for those of you who are dealing with that, I do feel that there's you're kind of looking forward to the future, and you're trying to, think about what's the next step in my life? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to be? Where do I want to live? Is the current place of employment, is the current place where I'm living serving my needs? I feel like a lot of you might be burned out, honestly, from socializing, or you might be feeling like the group of friends that you hung out with in the past are no longer, you don't have that sense of a strong emotional connection anymore. So you might branch out when it comes to, acquiring new friends, making new friends, getting involved in more group organizations where you are going to be like more like-minded. A lot of you might be thinking about school. I feel like a lot of thinking. And whenever you come up with a plan, I feel like, you do it right away. I just want to say that, it says here in about 2 months' time. Then you're gonna have to wait until next semester. So if that's the case, if it's school and it starts soon, then by all means do it. I just we have left school and are thinking about returning, then it's definitely a good time to return. Okay, Mercury in retrograde is a good time to redo something, to go back to something and finish up something that you started in a previous time frame. So there are a lot of planning, there are a lot of thinking, and I feel that you're in a really good space and you've healed from some recent breakup. I feel as well like physical healing, emotional healing, and moving forward and, being very optimistic about your future. What I'm getting as well is if there's any type of a competition, I feel honestly you are going to come up on top, okay? So I've got the Ace of Swords, which is the victory card, the Six of Wands, which is another victory card, and the Magician. So no matter what, like your words are going to um stop people in their tracks is what I'm feeling. Like you're going to be a very good effective communicator. You're going to get a lot of respect, a lot of accolades in any type of a public setting, in any type of a public forum. I feel like you're going to be a very, very convincing and persuasive speaker. And I feel like women, children, elderly folks, they're going to look at you and they're really going to listen to what you have to say, and they're going to be stopped in their tracks. So I definitely feel there's a lot of high intensity, like successful energy coming through for you. So it's a good time overall for the next 2 weeks. If you are a salesman, if you are trying to, if you are teaching, for example, if you're giving people technical information, if you're trying to rile up people for a cause, you have the power of persuasion. So use it to your advantage, okay? So Aries, I do wish you all the best for the rest of this month. Take care of yourself, get enough sleep, drink water. Okay, we are in the time still of Leo, and you're a fire sign, so don't work yourself too hard, and cool down. Get a lot of liquids in your system. Okay, I'll be back in September. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, so next up we have Taurus. So give me a moment, Taurus. I'm going to get your cards shuffled out. All right, Taurus. So welcome to your mid-month reading. Um, One of the first things that I am sensing here is there's a lot of legal documents that are coming through, and I don't feel like lawsuits or anything like that. I feel it's more like deeds to houses, changing names, joint accounts, something like that. I feel like there's some shuffling that you have to do in the matrimony, in the household, in a more like on a more personal level that you have to do in your life. So that means signing legal documents or something like that. I feel like names being signed on the dotted line. I feel contracts. I feel paper, and I feel you perusing through it, and I feel like you're setting up something. It could be a safety deposit box or like just a bank account, and I see you putting money into it. Okay. So overall, that looks good. Whenever I see people putting money into a bank account or a safety deposit box as well, it indicates, a lot of financial abundance. That's allowing them to save up. So it looks good. The other thing I want to advise you is I feel like there has been a lot of financial drain going, like the beginning of this month, and I feel like it's not alleviating until like possibly the 19th or the 20th of this month, okay? Just be prepared for that, and just be careful about that, and try to minimize unnecessary expenditures. Try to avoid, emotional spending, and also buying a lot of luxury items, because I feel like you might not need these things, okay? And by the end of the month, if there's a payment that you have to make, you might find yourself a little bit short, and it's going to hurt a little bit. So just yeah, curb spending until like the 19th or the 20th, okay? Just curb spending. But either way, I feel like there is somebody coming in. There's a large sum of money coming to you from other people. I don't feel like it's from a job. I don't sense it's from like one individual. I feel like it's scattered among different people. And I don't feel like it's a loan. I don't sense that it's a loan. I feel like it's just like some financial windfall coming through, okay? And it's from multiple sources is what I'm sensing. A lot of you are might be relocating for a job, okay? So you might have landed a job. You are moving, picking up the pieces, moving on to a new location. So I feel like you're physically moving from one geographical location to the next. I feel like a lot of you, you're moving from east to west, like you're heading in a western direction. And I do sense like there might be some difficulties procuring housing. So you might, it just seems to me like if this resonates with you, I feel like you might have trouble landing that house or buying that house or renting that apartment. For some of you, it might be because your employment history is not as seasoned. So it's not that it's not stable. It's just, there's something here about not being able to either get that house or get that apartment because you might not have a long or stable work history. And but I do sense it being resolved, okay? I don't feel that you're going to be stuck or stranded. For others of you, I just feel like the housing market is a little bit competitive wherever you're moving to. So there might be a lot of contenders for the same spot, and it might be difficult. But either way, I do feel new work coming through. Like, if you're waiting on that job offer, if you have recently moved and you are looking around for work, I definitely feel that coming through. But it might pay a little bit less than what you're used to or what you anticipated. But I do feel it is going to pan out very well and very nicely for you. And I feel like a few options might come in, so you get to pick and choose what you want to do. So, don't worry too much about it, because I do sense like you are where you're meant to be, is what they're saying, and things will work out. It just takes a little bit more time, okay? We're also in, so Mercury retrograde is a time to revisit things rather than to start new things. So I feel like there might be a little bit of a delay for the next phase in your life, but excuse me. Excuse me, Taurus. But I feel that it's going to work out well. So don't worry too much about it, okay? What else I'm also feeling is for those of you undergoing any type of like, legitimate legal issues, what I feel is that it is going like dividing up assets, or if it pertains like dividing up something. So I feel like this is more like marriages, custody issues, alimony, and things like that. That can also create a little bit of a financial drain for you. So you might not have all the information yet as to what's being divided up, how they are being divided up. So it's best to keep your money up close and don't overspend, okay? Especially until like the 20th of this month or so. I do feel as well, if you are dealing with an air sign, okay, so this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra, and I feel like this is somebody you've been dealing with for quite some time. Um, I do sense there might be a dismantling of that relationship. Okay, if you're dealing with them in a marriage situation or in a romantic capacity, and you've been with each other for quite some time, and there has been some sort of like talking over one another, emotional distance, emotional rift, emotional disconnect, trust issues especially comes up. I definitely feel that the relationship is going to come to an end. But um, it says here that it will be replaced by a new relationship. So I feel like one person has recently left, and then another person is coming in, or one person is about to leave and then something else is verging right around the corner for you. So I definitely feel that relationship is not going to be tumultuous. It's like a smooth transition. What else I'm also seeing is if you're dealing with an air sign, excuse me, if you're dealing with an air sign, an Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, I feel like I feel like you might have been together, but you don't very much in common, and it's a compatibility issue. Okay, I feel like you want different things in life. You have different interests. So I feel like two people together in a relationship, but there is this emotional disconnect. Like everyone is living their lives independently. It seems like that. And I feel like if this is a new person and you're starting to catch this, it's really important for you to find things that you both can do. So, for example, if they're like a homebody and well, let's just say if you were the homebody and they're very into like the social scene, going out, drinking, and having a good time. Find something that neither of you have tried before and do that. Okay, I feel like it's gonna be good for you, and I feel a lot of like making proposals to do outdoor activities, to join a sports team, to do some type of outdoor activity together as a couple. I feel like that's really going to allow you both to bond emotionally. So, it's something you both have not tried, so try that, okay? Rather than one person going to accommodating the other and just not having a good time because you both are so different. Try something that neither of you have tried. It's going to work out well. So that's for those of you who have like a new air sign in the picture. For others of you dealing with another earth sign, I feel some immense like a new phase in the relationship that is going to start. Okay, so this could be moving in together, this can be taking the relationship to the next level, this could be, I feel, joint finances. I feel like two people potentially fixing up a home, cleaning a house, or like I feel like there might have been a recent apartment or a house purchase or something like that, and I feel like you're buying things, nice things for the house as a couple, and everyone's like working in different sections of the house to clean it or to decorate it, so it looks really really positive. For others of you who are single and things like that, I feel like you have some options. It's not like you don't have options. You have, I feel like a water sign, an air sign for sure, and an earth sign. Okay, so you've got some options. And what I feel is happening is that a lot of you, I feel like you might just be longing for this really, really. It's sort of like you feel like you might have had a disconnection with somebody, and I feel like you're thinking about this person from your past who is potentially very attractive. They're like very free spirited, and they're constantly in and out of the picture, not because of they're flaky, but because their lifestyle. They're very transient. They come and go. Okay, and you might have been caught up with this person for quite some time, like thinking about them, not being able to move on because of them, because you like them. And I feel like this is the month in which you are going to have to bring these fantasies to back down to earth, and really, try to be proactive about, creating the love life that you want. So I feel like you are going to go out and socialize with these other options or offers that are available to you, okay? So overall, it is going to be a very other oriented month. I feel like you're going to be in contact with other people, and you're going to Okay, so give me a second. I'm going to lay out your cards. So, Gemini. Okay, so next up we have Gemini. So, Geminis, the first thing I'm getting here is like, I feel that you yourself could be traveling a lot and seeing some amazing sights. Okay, I'm getting deserts, I'm getting like oases, I'm getting just really, really exotic places, and I feel like very hot climate, um, like very deserty, very dry, hot climate coming through, and amazing sights. Okay, so you could be physically doing this, or you are looking at somebody who's got a very, very vibrant lifestyle, luxurious lifestyle, even. I don't feel like decadent would not be the right word to describe it, but I feel like they're traveling a lot. You're probably looking at pictures of them going on their adventures, and I feel like some of you wish you were there, or someone is doing this to you. So that could go both ways, but I feel like you're looking at somebody who is doing this, and you wish that you were along for the ride. And a part of you, I feel like you might be dating this person and they're going on a vacation, and then you're just like, oh, I wish I were there. So there's that sense of like regret. There's a little bit of a loneliness, coming through. Okay, so I don't know if this has happened already, or if it happened like the 5th of this month and you're still looking at pictures or what. But I feel like whatever the situation is, I do sense that you should reach out to them, because I feel like they're thinking about you. I feel like they're there for the sight, but I do feel deep down they want a sense of rootedness. They want that meaningful relationship and meaningful communication. So they do want that. And I feel like this is a really attractive, exciting person. Um, I'm feeling a foreigner. So whatever, cultural, ethnic, linguistic background you are, I feel like they're different than you. So there's this sense of differentness between you and this other person. I feel like they just travel quite a bit, and they're very brave, very courageous. For a lot of you, it could be a fire sign, so a Sagittarius, a Leo, and Aries, but I feel like it's not really, a fire energy. It's just somebody who is spontaneous and exhibits the qualities of a fire sign. They're taking pictures and they're going to some very exotic places, and it looks really stunning. So you're looking at this and you wish you were there. So that's gonna be, that's gonna apply to a few people. It might not apply to all. What I'm also getting is that for a lot of you, be very careful about overindulging, okay? Drinking a lot and losing stuff. Like, I feel like losing keys, losing cell phones, dropping cell phones in water. um, Also, stress eating, okay? Like, I don't know why, but from the 5th to the 9th of this month, and also possibly the 15th to the 19th, there might be a sense of isolation, like someone is no longer by your side. But I feel like they're coming back. It's not like they're gone for good. I feel like they're in and out, and they might be traveling, they might be dealing with their own families. So that might put a little bit of a damper in your life, and you feel like, stress eating. I feel that strongly coming through. And especially like if you've got children, if you got like little children, I feel like weight issues with some children, okay? Some young children like teen adolescent, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that age range. Some body image issues, and I feel like someone might tell them, they might get teased if they're like a little bit chubby, they might get teased, and then they become really sad about their weight and they refuse to eat. And I feel like, and then at night they're like sneaking out of their beds and they're overeating. So I feel like something like that happening with the kids in your environment if you're dealing with them. If that sounds familiar, I do sense, talking to them, taking them to see like a therapist who can reinforce, positive body image is going to be important for you to do, okay, for them. So I definitely feel that coming through. And at the same time, I feel like a lot of you might be starting new exercise routines or going to the gym a little bit more. And I feel like there might be a performance issue where if you're taking, like, for example, a rope climbing class, a mountain climbing class, and there are a lot of people there, you feel like you're underperforming and you feel like everyone's looking at you. So you feel like you're being judged. But I don't sense that's what's happening. I feel like it's just, it might be just, a sense of awkwardness and insecurity at first, but this situation will definitely alleviate, okay? So just hang in there. Don't give up because they're not judging you. They're not making fun of you or anything like that. So if you're dealing with that, I'm very sorry, Geminis. But it did come in kind of clearly, okay? So just hang in there. Hang in there. Um, Everyone is there for the learning experience, so I don't feel you have much to worry, okay? And if you are suffering with some body image issues, I do sense that you're definitely on the right track, going to the gym, getting active. And the thing about exercise is that we do it for our own health, and we also should keep that in mind. It's not about losing weight, although that's always nice. It's more about being healthy, feeling empowered, feeling strong. Okay, so those are the objectives that we should aim for when we hire a personal trainer, when we enroll in some type of an exercise class. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I definitely see like a little bit of wanting to change your appearance, wanting to look a certain way, and I'm glad you're taking the steps to do it. So don't give up on it. Okay, whatever you start now in terms of some exercise regimen, I do feel you're gonna see results right away. I feel like 5 weeks time, which is a really short amount of time if you think about it. 5 weeks time, you're gonna notice huge differences, like a huge difference. So that's gonna be the end of. Oh, the other message I'm getting here is I feel I feel a lot of overindulgence, some drinking, okay? So if you are dealing with somebody who has drinking issues, I'm feeling like, I feel like a major personality change with this person when they drink. And I feel like when they're sober, they're very, very organized. They're very caring, very nurturing, and they're very sweet, and they have a great sense of humor. But I feel like when they are intoxicated, they might not even have a drinking problem. But I feel like every time they deal with alcohol, their personality changes drastically. And I feel like when their alcohol is in the system, no matter how small, a few drops, a few liters, a few pints, they become like aggressive and they become a little bit weepy. So I feel like, opposite ends of the spectrum here. Some of them get weepy, some of them get really aggressive, and you don't want them to drink. And I feel like for those others of you, you might be dealing with this issue where someone tells you, hey, you need to stop drinking, or you need to like just cut it out altogether. And you tell them, no, I know my limit, I don't have a drinking issue. But I feel like even if you have like a glass, it still affects you and other people are noticing. And I feel like the behavioral change, the personality change is as drastic as night and day. And you feel like you didn't drink that much, or the other person feels like they didn't even drink that much, but the personality change is pretty drastic. So if this sounds familiar at all, it might be time to take what other people say to heart, okay? So take better care of your health and especially cut down on drinking if you can. Because I feel like it might affect your relationships. It might affect your relationships. I feel like for some of you who are going through this with a fire sign, so this is Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. If you've had like, arguments and disputes and not being able to see eye to eye in the past, I do feel like I feel like these problems are alleviating, okay? And it's alleviating mainly because I sense that for some of you, they might be going on vacation. They might, you might take a break from one another. And I feel like you're missing them, okay? They are also missing you. So I feel like it's a mutual reception, okay? Reception of feelings. So I feel like you are missing them. They are missing you. I do feel they will come back into the picture. And I do sense when they do come back in the picture, you will pick up where you started, okay? Where you left off. I'm sorry. You will pick up where you left off. And I also feel like there's a lot of longing. There's a lot of like, I wish things were different. I wish like it were a different way. And I'm also feeling as if, I'm also feeling as if a lot of you are longing to have that to have a very exciting life is what I'm sensing. You're looking at pictures. You're looking at greener pastures elsewhere and wishing you were there. So if you're like on social media and you're comparing your life with the life of another person that you wish you had, someone who's like traveling a lot, someone who's very attractive, someone who's like always visiting different places, seeing different people, and taking some amazing photos. And I feel like you're taken in by it, and you want to have their life. You feel like their life is really exciting, and you feel almost like your life. You're comparing yours with theirs. And keep in mind that, with social media, it is only the persona, okay, like the facade, and you're not seeing the nitty gritty details behind the scenes, like all the things that people have to do to take that perfect snapshot, to take that perfect selfie, right? And if they're constantly, running around to different locations, and if they're doing this for fun and excitement, you also have to wonder, like, are they are they like really content? Because I feel like either way you're only seeing the facade, you're only seeing the aftermath. You don't know what it took them to get to that point, okay? So keep things into perspective, and it's good to, look at what other people are up to, but don't compare your life with theirs. And I know that's easier said than done, but I do sense that people are only portraying their best, and they're not giving you the truth behind the scene, like, the behind the scenes preparation in order to take those perfect pictures, okay? So everyone's got their own struggles in life, and I feel that some people are better at hiding it, and that's what you're not getting as well, okay? In terms of family situation, I do sense really strong support and love coming from for your family unit. And I feel like that's one of the things, that's one of the areas you might be overlooking, okay? So get back to your roots. Being grounded is going to be important for the next 2 weeks. I feel that you have a lot of love and support coming from your immediate family. So this can be extended family, also nuclear family, but I feel like especially your own children, you have a lot of joy and contentment, and especially from parents as well. So a lot of you might be taking trips to go see parents, to go see kids, to really reunite with the family unit. And it is the summertime, so a lot of people tend to travel anyways, but I definitely feel like if you feel that sense of estrangement, reach out to them, okay? Don't isolate yourself for this month, because the energy for family support and it is overwhelmingly positive. I do feel like long-standing disputes and estrangement between family members will be lifted for this month. And I do sense as well that I do feel that you're going to free yourself from a lot of restrictions and bondage, okay? I'm getting that for some of you. This is once again coming through with the drinking alcohol, and overall any dependency issues, relationships, fantasizing about the life that you want, and being stuck in that fantasy mode, and especially like escapism. Yeah, there we go, escapism. Drinking alcohol, longing for being stuck in unhealthy relationships. I feel that it's a problem. I do sense that. Most of the time we know when we've got some issues that we need to deal with, but we choose not to deal with it, or we find like we jump from one addiction to the next, okay? And I do sense that you are going to have to get some help if you're dealing with this, and you're not able to see the way out. So, try to get some help. Try to get somebody that can be there for you. And I'm sensing like drinking for a few people. So, what I'm feeling is, a lot of the times when we're tackling a major codependent relationship, or even addiction issues, or even, a form of escapism, we feel like, the whole concept of doing something cold turkey, it sounds really scary. It sounds very daunting, and it sounds overwhelming. And the thing that they really want you to understand is one step at a time. So, for example, if you've talked to somebody who, quit smoking 20 years ago, for example, and then you tell them, like, how did you do it? And do you still crave it? They're going to tell you, yes, I do crave it every day. It's not easy. It's not like that thing that you walk away from, and then you never confronted with it again. There's still that sense of temptation, there's still that sense of lure, and there's always the longing and the craving. But you're gonna have to decide, and to try to put things into perspective. Okay, you're doing all of these things for health reasons, and nothing else. So your health means a lot more to you than this temporary fix that you're getting from whatever substance, whatever relationship or partner, or whatever it is that you find yourself um, codependent upon. Okay, so keep that in mind. I do feel for some of you guys it's like alcohol, others it's food, others it might be sex addiction too. I do sense that. Um, and I feel that, for the past, let's say, for the past 5 months, I do feel like this situation has come in and interfere with some issues, some, events in your life. And you're realizing that you need to do something about it, and you might reach out to other people for help. So, good for you, Geminis. It's really important to know, where we are giving our power away so that we can regain control in our lives, okay? So I feel like for the past, like 5 months ago, so let's just say this is the month for you to regain your power, regain your strength, regain your footing, okay? So I hope the message is helpful for those of you who are going through this. The message is very specific, so I hope it is helpful, and I hope that you try your best to get some help regarding this issue, and that you take care of yourself. But either way, I do feel taking care, being more health conscious for a lot of you, doing more physical activities, getting out more. That's going to be required as well. And I'm also sensing that for others of you who are specifically dealing with a fire sign, and you don't know which direction to turn so much, like you're kind of like at an impasse. What do I do? On the one hand, I really like this person. On the other hand, you know, a lot of you might be have a family, and you like the other person, but you don't know where to go. And you feel like you have to act because you feel like they're turning their back and they're drifting away. Well, you have to resolve your own issues first with your family, with, if you're in a relationship and you're attracted to somebody else outside of the relationship, I mean, that's a problem, right? So you have to get to the root of what you need to do. Inviting a person into our lives when our lives is not stable, it's it creates a lot of problems. You can see that, right? Like it just it's not a courtesy, like out of courtesy for the other person. Get your life straightened out first before you can have stable, meaningful relationships, okay? So out of courtesy for the other person, straighten things out in your own life before you invite them in, all right? So Gemini, a little bit of a heavy message, and I apologize, but I hope it resonates with someone. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. So actually, I'm going to leave the slide on Gemini so that I can get the cards shuffled out before I switch over to the next sign. Let's see what's going on with Cancer. Cancer. Okay, so Cancers, I feel like in a work environment, okay? If it's in a work environment, I definitely feel some type of situation in the past where people were working at cross purposes, okay? Like you guys have the same vision. I feel like generally you guys are good people, you're working amongst good people. You have the same vision. It's just you're starting out at different starting points, and you have different ways of doing things. And I feel like this for the next 2 weeks, it's all about collaboration. It's all about expanding your professional contacts, your professional network, and finding a more harmonious way to synthesize all of your ideas into one workable project. So I feel like a consolidation, okay? So that could also mean, if you might be joining up with somebody to work on a project, to pull your resources together, to do something on a more communal level, is what I'm feeling. And even though the people might have, different ideas, different background, different starting points, I do sense it's going to be an overwhelmingly positive idea or project. It will come to fruition. And I do see like, and even getting the fruits of your labor. So it's a very, very positive thing. It's a very other-oriented month, so I do sense you might want to collaborate, cooperate with other people, and at least, um, pick their brains. I feel like they have a lot to offer you. They have a lot of concrete advice that might be helpful for you in your next endeavor or in your current path for your career path, okay? What I'm getting as well is in the love relationship, um, you are overcoming some temptations. That's what it's saying, first of all. In love, there is this tremendous sense of like taking back control, knowing what you want now, operating more from that heart chakra. Okay, the heart chakra deals with like it deals with pure love, and it deals with trying to do the right thing, not being having a strong sense of um, loyalty to our own heart, loyalty to ourselves. So that means, like I mentioned in the monthly reading, sometimes we feel like we really like a person, and no matter what, we want to be with them, right? And I feel like the heart chakra, when it's open, it allows us to see that, even though we like the other person, if we can't make them happy, we are going to have to let them go because, it's wanting to possess somebody, wanting to keep somebody, even though you don't have the necessary tools to make them happy. I do feel like that's a lower vibration of love, and I feel like for this, the next 2 weeks, you are opening yourselves up and you are operating from that, the higher chakras, and you're starting to see life in a more long term, in a more like bird's eye view type of way. And I feel like a lot of it pertains to love and relationships. A lot of you are dealing with a fire sign. So this is a Taurus. I'm sorry, not a Taurus. A Sagittarius, a Leo, and an Aries. Excuse me. And I feel like this is a person that is, there's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of attraction, there's a lot of passion. But I feel like your life paths are not converging, they're diverging. Meaning it's going to be really hard to get this relationship into any type of a normal or stable framework, okay? So it's going to be a little bit challenging. I do feel third party interference. This is like work, family, life goals, life purpose. I feel there is a other factors in your life that's not allowing this relationship to come together. I also feel geographical distance between the two of you. So, given what I said about, operating from the higher chakras, understanding truths like universal truths, operating from a place of wisdom and, peace, I do feel that you're going to be able to resolve this dilemma and you're going to be able to do the right thing, not only by the other person, but making the best option for everybody involved, okay? I feel like for some of you, there might be some issues here with an authority figure in the work front. I'm also getting like some. Okay, so let's talk about the authority figure in the work front first. I feel like a lot of you might get like new work assignments from your supervisors, and you feel like they're giving you the short end of the stick. I feel like that's what's happening. They might, provide more the lucrative assignments to somebody else, and they might leave you with something that is, less favorable for you. Like it's harder to do, there aren't as many resources, and you feel like you were dealt the short end of the stick. I feel that in a situation like that, if you feel like personally singled out, just think of it this way. If you're somehow always getting the harder assignments, I feel like it's because they have faith in you. I feel like they know your skills, they know your capabilities, and that's why you might be in a better position compared to your peers. You might have more skills, more resourcefulness, more expertise to do the job right. So that's why they're giving you the harder assignments, okay? For others who might have, like issues with the father figure, um, I feel like something is happening this month, especially, excuse me, especially for the next 2 weeks, that will harkens back to a time where you felt like overpower, or you felt like you were living in some under somebody else's shadows. And I feel like it deals with an authority figure at work, or it deals with like a father figure, okay? So that's coming through, and it's telling you to really resolve this situation, because I feel somehow it's interfering with your love life. So resolving these, deep rooted family issues is going to help you do a lot of healing when it comes to finding relationship partners that are in harmony with your needs. And it's going to give you some insight into, why am I always attracting the same types of people? Like you're dating completely different people, but they have the same energy. It's almost like doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting different results. And I feel like underlying all of this is I feel some power struggles, okay, in childhood, and the whole concept about femininity, masculinity. These are things that we learn from our the home that we grow up in. These are like stereotypical gender roles that are embodied by the mother and the father, and these are things that it's like the first form of socialization. So I feel like there's some family dynamics here that you have to resolve, and it's going to play out for different people in different ways. But I do sense that getting to the root of it, understanding it, and really processing how it affected your choice in partnerships and in the relationship partners that you are attracted to, that's going to be a really powerful, insightful awakening, and that might shed some light into some of the behavioral and some of the relationship patterns that you've had to contend with as a young adult, okay, or even right now as we speak. So I feel some unraveling of your motives will be required of you for this the next 2 weeks, Cancer. So I do feel that coming through. And for others of you who are dealing with, let me see, others of you who are dealing with an air sign. So this is Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Um, I feel like, oh, so I'm getting here that, okay, so if you are interested in this person you've never dated before and they're like somebody new, and you have like mutual friends, like mutual, acquaintances, mutual friends, mutual social groups and social circles, and you like this person, I'm getting that some through some previous interaction. Okay, so this is like I feel like 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, there is some information that is revealed about you that might not be favorable. So I feel like this person heard about it, and I feel like if you are making them an offer, like a love offer, an offer for a date, an offer for going out, I feel like I sense them turning their back, mainly because they feel like mainly because they're of the gossip that's involved, okay? And I don't know whether or not the gossip is true or false. I just can't pick up that information, but I feel like they're going to need some convincing from your end in order to do that. And for others of you, there is an air sign here that is proving to be a little bit difficult. I feel almost like they've been through a very, very rough love situation in the past, and they're not in the right frame of mind to be um, dating just yet. Okay, so you're gonna have to be patient if you want to wait it out. But I would say like go in a different direction altogether. Okay, I don't feel that it's gonna be good for you to spend so much time with courtship because the other person's not ready to date. When someone's not ready to date, they can't. They're not going to be a good relationship partner. They're going to be like, 1 foot out the door, and at the first sign of trouble, they're just going to bounce. So I feel like you might be barking up the wrong tree. So just pull back your energy in that regards, because I feel like they don't really appreciate all that you have to offer at this present moment, okay? It will come back again, and you're going to see a change in their demeanor, and they're going to be more receptive towards you. Um, Let me see what else is coming through here. I feel like this is a really, really good month, Cancer. Your feelings are overflowing. I do feel like emotionally you're in a very good space, and you're able to see the big picture. You're able to like have control over your emotions. So you're not, up and down. I don't feel that. And you're more considerate about, you've always been very considerate about people's needs. But I feel like this is the next 2 weeks is a very, very powerful month. You're going through a spiritual ascension, and I feel like a lot of the times people experience a lot of, tiredness, body aches and pains. Like spiritual ascension can be a very painful process, but I feel like it's more of a philosophical ascension where it's basically the higher chakras, and especially from the crown chakra, and it allows you to see a situation, to anticipate outcome, to anticipate events that are going to unfold, so that you can navigate the challenges, and as well as to avoid some of the pitfalls. I feel like that's what's happening for you. Some people call it like clairvoyance, but I do feel that you're able to see the bigger picture. Like you're highly elevated. You're able to look down and see what's going on, and you're able to understand how everything fits together so that you can navigate, treacherous waters is what I'm seeing here. So I feel like you're in a really good space. You have some strong divine protection coming through as well, okay? I do feel the whole concept of like having many vivid dreams where, and I believe I got this for one of the other signs. I can't remember. um, I feel like I really can't remember the signs, but it seems like you dream about a person, right? And the person in your present time. They look different, you look different, but it's them. And I feel like that's a past life energy coming in. Okay, so I feel like heightened intuition, um, lucid dreaming, and I also feel like past life regression in your dreams. All of those things are coming out in your dream state. So keep a dream journal. You're going to have a lot of splendid memories, and you're going to do a lot of problem solving, I feel, in your dreams. Okay, so there is a lot of this heightened vibrational energy coming through where you are going to be able to look at the big picture and get a lot of helpful information to help you navigate a contentious issue in a contentious like event in your life. Okay, I don't feel it's going to be problematic. I just feel like um, you're being prepared, and I feel like it might deal with family. It might deal with family. So you're being prepped for it so that you can brace yourself for impact. Okay, keep a dream journal and do some journaling. If you find yourself like at the bus stop waiting for the bus, do some journaling, do some random writing, and see what comes out. Because I feel like you're gonna have some really interesting insights this month. All right. So take care of yourself. I'll see you in September. So next up we have Leos. Okay, spend, okay? So the one of the main things I feel coming out very strongly is it says beware of people offering like empty promises, okay? And beware of things that are too good to be true. Most likely they are. Now it is birthday time, so a lot of the time, they say like you can wish on a star during your birthday time and it will come true. And it's a really good time for manifestation, and it's a really powerful, potent time to get things and to attract people and positive things your way, mainly because of the solar return. When the sun is in your constellation, it's easier to get things started and to push things along in the manner that you want. You are supported by the universe, but at the same time, when it deals with other people and their free will, especially if they come in multiple times, bearing, they don't really have much to offer, or they give you like, they promise to give you the moon and the stars, and nothing comes out of it. Just be very, very careful about this, falling for it again and being hurt again, okay? So keep that in mind. What I'm feeling right off the bat is you've got a blast from the past. And this is a situation where, once again, there was third party involved, okay? I feel like this person has a habit of it's almost like I'm getting a wolf in like a sheep's clothing. I feel that financially they are very insecure. They're very unstable. And I also feel like they talk a big game, and they might have a tendency to brag about all the things that they've done. They hype themselves up all the time, like they've got a lot to offer, and then I feel like they leave the picture. So whatever that they talked about, it never came to fruition. And at the same time, you might not have like concrete evidence that they're leading you on, or that they're misrepresenting themselves, right? Because like they come in for like 2 weeks and then they're out of the picture. So the things that they said never had time to pan out. So I feel like a lot of you are just like, yeah, I don't really get that, a positive sense about that person. But you didn't have direct concrete proof that they're misrepresenting themselves. So then you let them back in, and then the same thing happens, 2 weeks and then they're out of the picture again. And I feel like it is your birthday time, so they might be coming back in, might be trying to reconnect with you. And others of you, I feel like this is just an ex, like somebody that is like same type of description, but I feel you've known them for a long time. You know that they don't have the ability or the intentions to follow through. And I feel like they're coming back in, and you're going to have to turn your back. There's no way for me to sugarcoat this, okay? You have to turn your back, and the guides are telling you it's going to happen. So you have to like really look at, how did this situation play out in the past, and what can I do to protect myself? So the guides are telling you aim for self-preservation, self-protection, okay? They can only do so much to help you, but ultimately it is your free will. And when you're dealing with another person as well, you might want them to change, but it's also ultimately up to their own free will to do things, to like enact certain behaviors and to change themselves. So I feel like the guides are really urging you, protect yourself, learn from the past, reflect back on the situation in the past, and how did it come to fruition, and do you want to put yourself through it again? So I feel like you give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and especially if you have a very long history with someone, like if you've known them for a really long time, and especially if you grew up with someone. If you grew up with someone, you have that immediate sense of loyalty, and you know that they're not the greatest people, but because of that sense of common history, you often like give them, let them get away with a lot of stuff, okay? So that's just something to keep an eye out about, okay? So think about how people around you are adding value or subtracting value from your life, and you have to treat them accordingly. So that means, cutting off some ties, closing some doors for good, and not letting their energy affect you, okay? So I know it's easier said than done, but I do see that there's this immense sense of, your guys telling you about self preservation, okay? So taking care of yourself first, putting your needs first, especially for, the next 2 weeks, so that other people are not pulling the wool over your eyes, are not deceiving you, and are not coming back in with empty promises, with nothing really to offer, and disappointing you. So just be careful, okay? What I'm also getting as well is a lot of you are going to, and I'm really glad to see this. You're not going to get suckered in by this person. I feel like this person is very slick. You're not going to get suckered in. I don't feel you're going to let them back in. I see you turning your back, and I see majority of you are turning your back, and then you're leaving the other person high and dry. And honestly, what I feel is, if this is an ex, a lot of you might say like, why don't you meet me here on this day, and then you leave them high and dry. And I feel like for a lot of you, you might purposely choose a very public place and then not show up, and they're just empty-handed. Or you might choose a day that it's raining, and then they're caught in the rain. So I feel like that's happening. If you are doing this, or if you have encountered a situation like this, just let me know, okay? I'm really curious because that message came out really strongly. So you please email me, temperatestar@gmail.com, if you have done this, or if you are going to do this to somebody in the next 2 weeks, because I feel like it came out so strongly, like leaving somebody high and dry, mainly because you've had it. And um I feel like you're past the point of, anger. You're just like indifferent at this point, and you're turning away. So I'm actually really glad to see that. Um, what I feel is that for others of you, you might be in a long distance relationship and you have exes trying to come back in, okay? You're in a long distance relationship. You're actually happy. I feel that you're content. You feel a little bit lonely as a result of this long distance relationship, and you're missing the other person, but I feel that the relationship is quite secure. A lot of you are in a relationship with a fire sign, like another fire sign, and that's it seems to me like there's some rumors going around regarding your partner, and I feel that a lot of you really really trust your partner, and there might be some nagging feelings, your intuition kicking in, and I feel like you need to communicate, okay? Because I feel that the things that you're hearing are not 100% true. So don't let third party, bickering and information. It's like playing telephone. You don't want your people may innocently misconstrue or misrepresent the truth. Okay, so you need to communicate with your partner, especially if you're dealing with another fire sign, another Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, okay? And let me see here. If you're dealing with an earth sign, I feel like for a lot of you, if you started dating this person, excuse me, if you're dealing with an earth sign and you recently started dating this person, I feel like they might be coming on a little bit strong, and I feel like they got out of a recent breakup, and it was like quite painful, and they're trying to get over their ex, and they out of character, they might push for another relationship really really fast, and you're just like, no, I'm not ready, and I feel like you're not ready, so I feel like you're putting a stop to it, or you're taking some time away from this person so that they can get a little bit more of perspective as to what they're doing. So that's really good. You're putting the brakes on things. And I'm feeling for others of you, there might be, like expenditures. And it's understandable because we are heading into the school, like back to school. So a lot of expenditures when it comes to children, clothes, they're growing like weeds. And I feel like there's a flock of them. There are a lot of them. I feel like some of you might have a big family, or you might have new additions to your clan. So you might have like 3 children already and another on the way. I feel like it's a very, very vibrant home environment, and they're growing fast, and you know, it's like you just bought them clothes last week and now you have to buy more clothes. So that's coming through, and I feel like it's more back to school, you know, buying school supplies. I feel like giving out allowances. They're growing, so you have to give them more. So just like expenditures going towards children, and I feel like you're trying to make ends meet, and you're trying to balance the budget. Okay, so you're doing this well, and I feel like you are just really good planners. Um, what I'm getting as well is, honestly, don't trust rumors for this month. Get to the source of the problem. Okay. I also feel like for others of you, there might be a job that you are waiting on, and you might have gone on an interview around the first. And I do feel that you did really well on the interview, but I feel like they're trying to hire somebody internally, okay? So that means, you know, you might have all the skills, you might have all the credentials, but I feel like the company, they were opening it up just for formality. They weren't really interested in recruiting new talent for that job. They're just trying to see like what other positions they might be able to fit you into. So I feel like you might get communication back from them, but it might be for a different position, because I feel like they already have somebody in-house that they want to fill that position. All right. So Leos, overall, there's a lot of activity happening for you, and I feel most of it pertains a person trying to come in from your past. I feel you closing the door, shutting that down, which I'm really glad to see, because I feel like you're no longer you're just no longer interested. You don't really want any more drama in your life, and you have gone through a period of like immense growth. Okay, seeing through people, seeing through the facade. I feel your intuition is kicking in overdrive for this month, so that you can you know, like be wiser, be more discerning. Not that you're not wise, but I feel like whenever you have a strong history with somebody, you tend to like give them many chances, and they don't deserve it. They don't really deserve it. So cut your losses, move on, okay? And don't let other people fool you. Don't let them, you know, take your take advantage of your kindness. Take advantage of your time. They're wasting your time. So just be careful about that, okay? I do wish you all the best. Take care of yourself. Excuse me. Okay. So last sign here in this video, we have Virgos. See what's going on for Virgos. Important things that are going to turn. I feel like the wheel's turning for the better. There are a lot of surprises coming in that you're going to really like, okay? First of all, let's start with your work environment. And you know, the past year and a half that I've had this channel, every time I do a reading for Virgo, the main message was that, a lot of people in the work environment, they never work as hard as you do. And because they don't work hard and because you're sharing responsibilities, all the responsibilities end up being dumped on you. And you have very good work ethics. And one of the things I've noticed about a lot of Virgos in my life is that whatever they do it really well. And they have this own sense of internal standards, internal like regulator. And no matter what people do, you do your responsibilities to the best of your capabilities. And that's why I really, really admire a lot of the Virgos I've worked with in every capacity. You do your job and you do it well, and you don't care if it's not fair, that you're putting up with the brunt of it, and you're always on time and punctual, and you do your job really well. And so in every work environment, you find that you are outperforming your peers and you end up in a supervisory position. And you don't want to be in a supervisory position. You don't want to end up in the limelight, mainly because you are an introverted sign. And you feel like you work better behind the scenes. And I feel like a lot of the times you might shy away from the position of authority, because you don't want to tell other people what to do. You feel like everyone should have this internal compass and they should be accountable for their own responsibilities and for their own actions, right? And so you don't want to play the babysitter. You don't want to tell other people what to do, how to perform their job, even though you're very good at it. You just don't like that position of power. It makes you uncomfortable. And so what I feel then happens is um, you end up behind the scenes, you end up working in a lower position, and then responsibilities get dumped on you, and the work distribution is not fair. So if this sounds familiar, I feel like you're getting help, okay? So I do see some really amazing stuff happening. If you're dealing with a work environment that is like this, it's dysfunctional, and it's demoralizing to come to work. I feel there is some shakedown happening, some intrigue, some drama happening in your work environment. So I feel like someone is doing something sneaky. So if they have been, time theft comes to mind. They come in work late and then they leave early. They don't do their work like they're supposed to. They're sneaking around doing other things like browsing, taking personal phone calls when they're at work. They're going to be found out. So we have the Seven of Swords, which is, sneaky behavior, and we have the Emperor. Somebody's going to get caught by an authority figure. Okay, somebody's going to get caught in the work environment doing something they're not supposed to be doing, and they're going to get reprimanded. And I feel like even though this is a very, very minor thing, it's not going to it's a in in the scheme of things, it's something very minor. I feel like it's setting the precedent for other people to be more conscious about time theft, to be more conscious about what they're putting in at work, and to be a little bit more diligent about taking care of their own responsibilities. So I feel like this is a slow process of trickling down, but you are going to see change, and you're going to see it very soon. Okay, so I hope that makes sense for you guys. I do feel for others of you, there might be some turning around, switching around in management. Okay, so I feel like some changes happening in like the vertical hierarchy within some organization that you're in, and things are going to be shaken up, and things are going to inefficient things are going to be trimmed out. So I feel like you're going to be really happy about these changes. So it's going to take some time. I quit my job because the people are not doing their job, and it's not fair. I want you to just, wait for the next 2 weeks and see if any of this, happens in your work environment. If it is, I do feel that it's going to change for the better. It's going to naturally work itself out. It's going to take 3 months, 4 months, give or take, but I do feel it's going to improve your work situation drastically, okay? So whoever that has been problematic, whoever has been, not doing their fair share of the work, they're going to get reprimanded and they're going to get their due justice. And I feel like for a lot of you, um, I'm feeling air signs and I'm feeling earth signs, okay? So air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I feel that happening in your work environment. Um, Also in your personal life as well, whoever's not carrying their fair share of the weight, and they're over and over again they say they're going to do something, they don't follow through. I feel like you are no longer tolerant of their flaky behavior. um, you're no longer, I see you turning cold against this person. And I feel like it's not, once or twice. I feel like multiple times they have done this and they don't carry through, and they don't work up to their potential. So you feel like this is not the type of person I want in my life. So, you shut the door on that. So I definitely feel endings happening for a lot of you this month, and it's going to turn a new leaf. And I feel like it's like a one chapter closing, and then the new chapter is going to be very smooth sailing. There aren't going to be as many um problems, and we're dealing with like better people, better energy, better vibrations, and overall all those inefficiencies are being trimmed out of your life, okay, in work, in love, in interpersonal relationships as well. And I feel a lot of you are definitely turning your back. I feel like um I feel like there is somebody in your life, and they keep making promises. And I don't know in what capacity they come in as, but I feel like this is somebody that you care about. It could be family, friends, lovers. I don't feel like it's an acquaintance at work, but I feel like you have reached out to them from the past, and they they're stubborn. I feel like they're very, very stubborn. They're very fixed in their way, and they're very slow. It says like somebody who might be a turtle, like very, very slow. And they're just really, really, like turtles. They live for a really long time. And I feel like this person has lived, they say this person has lived for a very long time. So I'm not assuming, well, I'm assuming they're not old, like biologically. I feel like they might be an old soul, and they might be a fixed sign, okay? So like one of those fixed signs, like Scorpio, I believe Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and I believe there's one more, but I can't remember. So they might be a fixed sign, and they're just really, really fixed in their ways. And I feel like you might have tried to reach out to them, make amends, and you weren't successful with them because they're very stubborn. And I feel like there's this sense about them, like I feel like they're a good person, they have a good heart, but there's this holier than thou energy about them. And then I feel like you turn your back on them, and then they decide they want you back. Like they decide to come back and to make amends, and try to right the wrongs. And I feel like this is for the next 2 weeks. They are actually trying to make amends with you. They are. Um, and I feel like I see, and this is just an imagery. I don't know if it's going to happen for you guys, but I feel like they're showing up at your door, and they're trying to make amends, and they're trying to tell you, like I've changed. And I feel like they might say they're sorry. For some of you, they might say they're sorry, but for others, I feel like through their I feel like they're so stubborn and they're so proud that they would never say they're sorry, but they assume that you know that they're sorry. Um, and I feel like, they're at your door, and you have the door open ajar, like, a few inches open, and you're just like, um, whatever you're telling me is just, words. I'll believe it when I see it, and then I see you closing the door. And I feel like, I don't feel they're upset, but I feel like they know that you're serious now. So if that sounds familiar, or if you feel like somebody's trying to do that to you, like coming back in and trying to make amends with you, I feel like you have to, phrase it that way. It's like you don't need to engage with them in like long conversations, because I feel like that was what happened in the past and it didn't get anywhere. So whatever they're telling you, keep a stern face, and then just tell them, what you're telling me are just words, so I'll believe it when I see it, and then walk away. And they will come back and they will, try to win you over and prove to you with actions. And when they do, that's when you're going to, that's when you can, change your mind. But keep in mind that behavioral change with people does not happen overnight. It just does not happen overnight. So I feel like it's not until then I feel that it's going to work. So what you do for the next 2 months is going to be quite important, okay? I do feel, unfortunately, for some of you, the behavior change happens for this person on a very superficial level, and then they regress, and then you're going to end up disappointed, okay? That's what I'm sensing. Especially if you're dealing with a mother, if you're dealing with, like somebody who is quite controlling, dominant, um, manipulative, I feel, just really, just they have trouble admitting their flaws. That's what I'm sensing. They have this, they're on their high horse, they're on their pedestal, and then they look down at other people. So there's a great sense of judgmental energy about them, and I feel like they they're just, they look down on people. And I feel like when someone is not able to even say they're sorry, it it doesn't indicate to me a lot of maturity. It doesn't indicate to me someone, if someone has trouble saying they're sorry when everyone knows that they're wrong, it's just they're not ready to be around other people, okay? And I know some of you are going to be laughing at that, but it is what it is. That's the truth. If you don't know how to like put your ego aside to say sorry and to admit your faults, it means that you're not going to change. So through the act of saying, I'm very sorry for my behavior, and acknowledging what it is that they did that really hurt you, or that really, caused the rift between people, then it allows them to change and to, not do that same thing in the future. So that's what I feel is happening. This person has trouble. They're too proud. They just feel like they're exempt. There is a sense of entitlement, and I feel like this sense of entitlement is coming in from all of those problematic relationships that you've had with other people. So it's an innate sense of entitlement. People think they deserve a specific thing and they didn't work for it, okay? And for you, you just like it's kind of like um I feel like it's in opposition to everything that you believe in. You feel like in life we have to pay our dues. We have to work hard to acquire things. Like even with trust is not built overnight. Trust is consistent effort. And so you feel like this person coming in, they feel entitled to everything. You don't like that type of behavior, and you feel like it's just childish and it's disrespectful. So I feel like that's why all of these relationships are not really working. So in the future, if you see this in, a new person, a new acquaintance, keep them at arm's length, and, resurrect those barriers, okay, to protect yourself so that they don't encroach upon your values and your space, okay? So let me see what else I'm seeing here. I do feel, once again, in the work front, you're going to love the changes happening at work. I do feel a lot of positive energies coming through, getting positive reception, getting recognition for the work that you've put in, things that you've worked really hard at, okay? And I do sense, for a lot of you, if you have been feeling like secluded lately, if you have like, like in the work environment or in your social circle, if you felt like you had to be on the defense all the time because the people you're dealing with are a little bit low vibrational, and you had to draw boundaries with them, I feel like there's a new group of people. that are coming through that will be very good for you. So I feel like they're in alignment with your path. They have the same values you do. So you're not going to have to, over explain yourself to get your point across with these people. And I feel a lot more social gatherings with more like-minded people. So in the past, and I would say like the past 4 months, I feel like you were getting a lot of invitations, but you felt like, honestly, I feel like you felt like these people are not on your wavelength, okay? It's not that you're looking down on them. It's just I feel like you don't jive well with them because of the way they live their lives and their mentality. You feel like they're a little bit young at heart and a little bit too immature. So then you turn down all of their offers. And I feel what's coming through is that there's a lot more offers on the work front and also on the social front. And you're taking up these offers because I feel like the people are better. Not that we're better people, not that we can make value judgment about somebody's worth, but I feel like these people are in better alignment with you and they have the same goals as you. They work just as hard as you and they don't have this innate sense of entitlement. So I definitely feel you are slamming the door on some people, closing the doors for good, shutting some people out, and just, people that are not working hard and are not deserving of recognition. So it's like this. I feel like the ones that there's some really massive rebalancing of the karmic scale. The people that pay their dues, they're gonna get really good reception, okay? Like they're going to get recognized. They're going to get whatever that is owed to them. And the ones that have not worked hard, that have like created problems, I feel like they had to walk away. So I feel like they had to be weaned out of that environment. And behind them, I see these like fireworks. So they're disappointingly walking away, and I feel like behind them, that's where you are, and that's where you're getting the reception and the accolades, okay? So overall, really, really positive, okay? I'll talk to you soon.